What?
Fish Fry Live. Let's see if we go live here. We're live, Terry. Check the volume.
I knew we were live because that corner thing says live.
Yeah, but you never know if that's real.
All right.
All right. Well, good morning, you guys.
Morning.
Since our first Wednesday live, we upgraded. We got some lapel mics.
They were actually on the way. We just
Yeah.
didn't get them until we got home.
So hopefully the audio is not so echoey. And we're still learning, man. We're learning one little step at a time. So hopefully this sounds nice and clear. We got these little fuzzy guys that can go on there.
They look like fishing flies.
They look like little fishing flies, but not so sure we need them in here. But if it's all rattly and scratchy, then we do, and we'll do it next time. So anyways, welcome to Family Friday. As you guys know, the One Strong Home has three major pillars. And the first and foremost is a strong family, right? With that, we build the strong homestead, which is the ability to produce your own foods and have those things at home that create that important nucleus of your home life. And then strong warrior, which we focus on Wednesdays. So for One Strong Home Family Friday, we have quite a few things that we want to talk to you guys about and share with you that have made our home and our homestead important and valuable to us. And Terry can talk about the first thing we want to talk about.
Oh.
Surprise. We don't have a list today. Yeah.
Well, and he didn't tell me that. Okay. So this time of year, a lot of people thinking about their gardens. One of the things we like to do is I like to order seeds online. That gives a lot more opportunity for variety than just going to the farm store. My favorite one is actually Annie's heirloom seeds. They're pretty fun. We are not sponsored. We do not get any monetization from any of these. It's just what we like to use. And so we thought we'd share. So yeah, I've used Annie's for years. They have really cool options. You can get organic seeds. You can get heirloom seeds. You can get just regular seeds if you just want a more budget price. Some of them pay attention to how many you're getting. There's some of them only have 12 seeds.
Yeah, 12 seeds in a
packet. But you're getting something that you're not going to find at the grocery store. You're going to grow just some different colors and some different varieties that you can't find locally.
And I think what's really neat, if you're not familiar with what an heirloom seed does, heirloom seeds are a seed that whether they've cross-populated them or whatever, they're a seed that I think it's 20 times in a row they grow the same fruit or bear the same vegetable, right? So you can get like a hybrid seed, right, which might be drought resistant or might produce, a few more fruits per vine than some of the other ones, but they will never just off the seed grow the same thing again when they're a hybrid seed, right? Only the seed that you get will do that. They've been cross-pollinated to do that. An heirloom seed is one of the seeds where if you collect the seeds from the bearings that you got off of it, they will produce the same plant and they're guaranteed to do that. And that's one of the greatest things about maybe if you want to put together like a seed packet or seed store of your own and collect your own seeds, you want to know that thing that you produced is going to reproduce again for future years. It's one of the great things and why those seeds come out like 8 and 12 in a pack is that they're known to provide and grow a certain way. And then their seed will be reusable, where a lot of the other commercial seeds, they won't produce the same thing.
Yeah. One thing to consider, a lot of the farm store varieties that you can get, like just on their little seed racks, usually they're kind of tailored to your zone. So pay attention when you're ordering from a catalog or online that you are going to be able to grow that seed in your area. You might not have enough days for it to actually produce. it's still kind of fun to try. I always try watermelon, even though
We got 2
we,
watermelons. Not
yeah,
this big.
you know, sometimes that it works out and you have a better growing season for it. But yeah, so that's the seeds. And then you mentioned saving the seeds. I don't know if
Yes.
you want to talk about that now.
Yeah. So saving your seeds is huge, right? So we're not our entire program, right? We had some questions the other night, which were like, do you consider yourselves preppers, right? One of the things that we want you guys to learn to do is how to save your own seeds so you're not spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Now, I could tell you we've had years where we spent $150 on seeds, and within a week, the birds ate every one of them. And we had to start all over, right? We had just planted them, they just started sprouting. Those birds were like, heck yeah, they went right in that easy soil, took them out. We had to start all over, right? We went out and there was just a whole bunch of holes in the ground. When we save seeds, you got to keep them in a cool, dry place, whether they're in the packet you got from the store or whether you've saved them from the year before. So we've got a box here, an example of seeds that we've stored for years.
Well, and I didn't go through this.
Oh yeah, it's just a mess. We actually have a couple of boxes. We have a great old kids tackle box that has had seeds in it since Terry was a child, and they've been kind of passed down through family. And we use them all the time. We add to it, and we put them when we're done. We just put each little thing in a little Ziploc bag because the little paper pouch like this, they just kind of tear up, right?
Well, in my other box, I have I have little paper pouches that you can write on and keep
Right
your
on
seeds
them. Yeah, keep them for years to go because you may not use them all in one season, right? Like
this
these,
is an example of ones. I mean, you could try those purple pole beans.
and these are actually seeds left over from the packet, right? But there's been a lot of times when we'll go through and we'll dry our own seeds and keep them for the next year, right? Just a simple way to do that. And if you couldn't see this, it's just a little clear-sided box, a tote. And I would bet you guys probably have something also like that. One of the things we try and do is we try to put like flower seeds in one box and then like our vegetable seeds in another box. If you're smart enough, cool enough, you could put them in alphabetical order or whatever you choose to do. But it's a really great way to get the family involved, right? You want to show that little tackle box? I mean, we use this when our kids were young, children, right?
This one's my mom's.
This one's Diana's, if you don't know Diana. And this goes way back, right? Back to when these were awesome and popular, right? And it just has seed packets in it that we, have used throughout the years. And we don't always need, 100 seeds of any one type of vegetable. But they're in there. And it's a neat way to involve the kids because you can take these also and put them out on the table and kind of just line them out how you would in the garden and get them involved in that also.
One thing with the older seeds, they have kind of like a Best By date, but those are great ones to use if you're starting seeds indoors. Then if they're going to sprout, they're going to have a better chance at that rather than just in the ground seeding. Oh, I was going to mention these are packets that we got from Annie's, but they just were these little Ziploc things.
Yeah.
And in each one, it had the packet. So this one's Annie's medicinal flower garden, and so it had all of the paper pouches
inside
in it.
And they had a whole bunch of packets in there.
We just saved it because they were, reusable little zipper bag.
And again, remember, cool, dry place, right? So your Mylar bags, they stop oxygen from getting in. Oxygen typically has moisture in it, right? And so if they're in there, they're going to make these last a lot longer. So even if you're going between seasons, if you can get these kind of bags, they're pretty inexpensive. You can get them on like Amazon for nothing if they don't come in your seed pack company. But this is like everything in there. So sometimes it's like, let's say you want to do like a salsa garden, right? And all the things that go in the salsa you like, you can simply put each one of the sets of seed packs in one of these that say salsa on them. And you can hand that to a kid, a younger person in the family, and say, go at it, right? Put one of each one of these in this little box. It's going to make salsa for you, right? And it's just kind of a neat way to incorporate those kids in your planning.
They do a great job also at collecting seeds, as long as they're old enough to keep them separate so you know what you are getting. Otherwise, you're going to have some surprises when your seeds are mixed up.
Morning, Nathan. Thanks for saying hello.
Good morning. All right.
The other thing is planning your garden too, right? So we do something pretty simple. We just get the old graph paper out, like you're back in 1986 middle school, trying to learn how to make a cube. And we've actually done some, we didn't bring it today, but we have a poster. It's about this big, which is our whole farm. Everything from where the street is, where the house lies, where the sun comes up, where our fence lines are, where our trees shade. And it's just something that we took the time to do one year because we needed a better plan for our system. And I recommend that to you guys heavily. Remember, some of the things that you guys are going to have access to with us are going to be on the paid subscription side. So remember to go to patreon.com/1StrongHome, right? You can get the free service in there. That's fine. You get all this kind of stuff. But in the paid memberships, we can go into more in depth. And the top 2 tiers gives us opportunity to actually help you and evaluate maybe where you are. We can actually link in. We can zoom in with you. And we can kind of give you an idea of, hey, this is actually where your son rolls if you've never paid attention, right? This is the direction we recommend. We see the topography. We get a topography map of your property, and you could take a couple of pictures and send them in to us. We can say, hey, we recommend orienting your garden this way because it will extend your growth time, right? You can get those things like melons if you can get them started indoors, and if you can keep that sun going into the later part of the year, you can get more days of warmth, right? And like we have a garden, the very first garden, well, I hit that, was probably loud. We had a garden.
Watch your ears.
And it leaned the wrong way. So the sun at the end of the day was over here rather than over here shining on it. And if we would have just built it on this side of the hill, more of that garden would have got that evening heat. That's this garden right here.
So this, in the box, we have multiple years. We're always growing our garden, or expanding, I guess you could say.
Those are raised beds, if you couldn't tell.
Which has been nice because we get to a certain point where certain things have to maybe depleted the soil, so moving to a different spot. Yeah, so that was a good one. That year, I remember we had a lot of help with the kids that year.
We did, and we have 12. Our first garden space that we did was 12 raised garden beds. And it had 2 big apple trees on it that were supposed to be dwarfs that never really dwarfed. They got pretty good size. And so there was a couple spaces in our garden that had shade from those trees. For us, it was great to have the apple trees, right? But they also created an area that didn't get enough sun. And so we would grow things like lettuce down in there, some of the cooler crops that we needed. But understanding and seeing that is really important. And sometimes you need outside help, right, on how to plan your garden. Now, at the same time, some of you guys are probably pros and probably better than us at planning your garden. We have some great friends, the Di Mateos. I don't know if they're on here yet this morning, but they are fantastic garden planners. And if you can incorporate your kids into that, if they have like a space, you might actually get them to help a little bit when it starts getting weeds, right? Yeah. So trying to incorporate everyone in your home is really, really important.
Well, and we can share a picture of each of these. They're not fancy, if you can see at all on the camera, but we'll share a picture so you can actually kind of see. But we kind of just wrote out what we had and then tried to move stuff around with how it would fit. This was not the best raised beds. We learned a lot. This was our first big go at it. We had a garden before, but it was just kind of one box. This one we built with pressure treated wood. Mm-hmm. Don't recommend that if you're going to be eating your food from those garden beds. But one thing we were able to do with the planning is, not sure if you could read, this one says sandbox. So we built, we planned for our kids in this garden. We had a sandbox for them to play, and then next to it we had a sink that was attached to our fence, and then we could hook the hose up so they had water for their sandbox. It actually was a really cool thing for them when they were younger, to be able to kind of get in the sand, and they had their toys while I was weeding.
Yeah, it's actually a really neat way to do it, incorporate those kids and give you an opportunity to be out there. In ours, we had a fence that went all the way around, and I mean, you'll see some of our garden stuff as we put those on future posts, especially as we kind of get into our spring here and start doing that for ourselves. But to be able to have that and just close the gate and keep the dogs out, keep the chickens out, but also keep the kids in. It's going to give you guys that have younger kids in your household an opportunity to actually get out in the garden, enjoy that space, and get their hands in the dirt too, right? So we really, really believe in that food to table idea, right? And that means the kids have to be involved as well. They have to know where it is. They know what they're doing. They may not know exactly why or how often or how much of something you do, but they're learning that, right? And the more you can get them involved with just, this is how you pat the seed in, right? This is how you do a cover. This is how you pull the weeds, right? Recognize we're in rows. So if it's not in that row, it's not something we wanted to plant there, right? And that goes through age. But at some point, you can also get your kids, say they're young teens or teens, and they are big, they're just starting the world on everything spicy is fancy, right? Have them do a salsa garden, right? Have them grow some peppers. Have everything in that zone and in that space is theirs, right? And then involve them in the kitchen. Show them how to chop and dice that stuff up, how to let it sit, and how to have it actually become an edible product, right? That's so important. And then you could take them a step further when we get into the time of year where you start jarring and canning stuff. Have them jar and can their own salsa for the winter, right? Like if you could take that load off your shoulders and incorporate them into that, how awesome is that, right? That's what the whole One Strong Family Friday stuff is all about. I'll show you another little picture here. Like I said, we have a couple of different garden spaces on our homestead. We have this one, which we started back in 2005, if I recall right. We've had some great years. We've had some terrible years. We've had a couple of different changes. One of the biggest things that we did is we put like chicken wire underneath all the soil at the very bottom of the boxes, right, to keep out moles and things that were burrowing from eating our plants. And they were 10 inches or so deep before that chicken wire. That was a terrible idea because every time we went to till it, we were pulling up some of that chicken wire. And yeah, it was supposed to have worked, but at that depth, it was really tough. I would use a total different product. I would almost rather pour concrete and put some holes in it for drainage because it was really annoying. We got a rototiller in there before and it was just wrapped up in it. We got the pitch or the fork in there, the tilling fork in there, and it would just pull it up every time. So for like 5 or 6 years, all we were doing was pulling up half rusted chicken wire. But there's some other methods that you could do in there to kind of keep those guys out. Also, honestly, the best technique is to have a barn cat and just have that barn cat be a killer, and they'll take care of it mostly for you.
Live and learn.
Live and learn. Yeah, live and learn.
All right. This was our most recent one, but this was a couple years ago when I was trying to talk him into getting away from the straight rows of garden beds. So Chris was not super sold on it at the start. It was really pretty. Yeah, it's about 45 foot by 45 foot, maybe almost 50 foot by 50 foot. The outside has 6 foot tall cattle panel fences, right? On round posts that we sunk in the ground. We'll upload a couple of videos on that too. We had a whole bunch of soil dropped off that honestly, it was dropped off by one of our friends here who runs a trucking company, and they were hauling off another property. And so we filled in a big space of our property. Like, I think it was like 50 or so loads of soil. It was a lot. It was weeks and weeks of filling this thing in. We had a vision.
Right? Because we need a flat spot and it wasn't flat. But the space also, as that all breaks down, creates warmth, and it helps with the roots in the soil, right? So a lot of it came in with grass, which is kind of the tough part. But we topped it with our manures, right? And we actually went and bought a couple of loads of the bark chips. And we got the alder bark chips, which
the playground ones,
right? Which we were really lucky. It was the end of this. It was pre-regular season, and so it was last year's stuff. So they gave us a great deal on it. But the nice thing about those alder bark chips is they don't splinter, right? So when you walk on it, you can use bare feet and everything. And then they actually break down really good in your soil. And after about 2 years, the bottom layer that's going to be like the dirt you want, you just till that stuff in, and that's where we're at this year, right? But we did this in circles. It was pretty neat little setup. It was beautiful. It did make it difficult to do the rows, but it was beautiful. It was a lot of fun, and we did a ton of stuff out of it. I know we've talked before a little bit. Like if you've seen like those big pumpkin boxes when they sell pumpkins at like the grocery store, we did at least one, if not two of those for full squash, zucchini, Hubbard squash, some melon, right, last year, and at least one of those full went to the cattle, because we can only eat so much, right? But they love it, right? It's something that they really enjoy, and it's something we grow off the property.
But on this map, the cows are like right here, so it's not too far to throw them a pumpkin.
And that's actually something that we really recommend is if you're going to have chickens, like we even have a spot here for duck house, right? Another chicken extension. If you're going to have chickens and you can put your chickens near your garden, it's going to help you a ton, right?
Certain times of your planting and growing.
Yeah, you're going to be pulling stuff, other weeds, or there's clippings, right? Or the product that's gone bad and spoiled. Just throw it into the chickens. It'll do a couple of great things, right? They will destroy it, right? They are fantastic at that.
I thought you were saying to let them be in your garden.
Oh, that too.
Well, I mean, that's what I was saying, certain times, because you don't want them in there when you got little sprouts.
No, she means like you can open up the door. And yeah, if you can open up, like if you could put like a cross fence between their run and your garden space, there are some great times. Like right now, our chickens are running our garden space right now because they are going to be tilling out, getting the bugs, getting the worms. They're going to be digging out and helping you actually weed quite a bit. Now, you don't want that really during your growing season, maybe when they're mature, but when they're young, they'll accidentally get your nice, clean, green little ones too. And
well, that's actually ducks are a lot better at that.
Ducks are really good because they like to do the stuff in the dirt and not the grass so much.
Well, they don't kick it all up, which the chickens, if they get into some nice dirt, they'll make it a little dirt bath.
They'll make a bed, right? They'll enjoy it. They'll love it. But yeah, that's our thought on that. Remember, doing this also in this design, this is just a little sketch, right? And you guys are going to have your own. But we've done classes in the past where we've had conversations on companion cropping. And there's times when you have two vegetables near each other, and some of those vegetables will steal the nutrients that your other one needs, right? So there's some great books, right? We've done a ton of, I mean, that's one of the biggest things we recommend you guys too is books. And we're going to put on a post of all the books that we've really used. That's really big, right? And we don't make any money off these guys, man. Nothing. Mm-hmm. They're just ones that we found really helpful, right? Even some older books, man. If you can find, go talk to your mom and dad and grandma and everything, and see if they got some of these old books on the shelf that they haven't even looked at once, right? They're fantastic. They're going to be very, very consistent. Try and find ones that are for your region, because you'll be able to do things like we started like the Mediterranean diet eating, and there's a lot of this stuff that you can actually grow, like a lot of it. Like we're not really great at sweet potatoes up here, but you can do sweet potatoes. We can't really do.
I've planted them.
We've planted them. We just don't. They're just not huge like you can get at the grocery store, right? But a lot of the food you can do if you're familiar with the Mediterranean diet, you can grow a lot of that on your farm. You can can a lot of it, especially if you're doing like the chickens, right? If you go fishing and do fish, you can figure all that out local. And if that's a healthy, great way to live, I mean, you can do most of that, right? So, anyway. What you got there?
One thing I'll say, we have, again, where these are not our charts, but a couple things we found over the years, approximate planting dates for vegetable gardens in Seattle. So make sure that I don't even know which source this is from, so we'll have to look. But my advice to you is if you find something good, print it, take a picture of it so you can find it again. Otherwise, you might not be able to remember where you found it. And then this one is a nice companion planting chart. This one says it's from.
And we'll link all these up.
Of North Dakota State University.
Yeah, Mr. Todd Weeman.
Agricultural Extension.
And we'll link those. We're going to put an attachment, right? And we'll put everything that we have in there because we're all starting the same time of the year around here, right? Now is the time to be planning what you want to do. Now is the time to be ordering those seeds in and getting your first turnover in your garden. I just started that last night. I'll be setting up a little short post on that. It should take all 45 seconds for you guys to watch. Except in the middle, I ran out of fuel and had to, go fill the tank and got distracted and came back. But anyway, it's we just do a quick turnover. Yeah. Right now is a great time to actually do that because it's cold out and the frost will help kill off some of the roots of the grass and stuff like that that's been growing throughout the winter. You're going to turn it once again and probably a third time before you actually plant to get some of those things that they're not seeding. You're actually getting the root from the seed that did happen. If you kill all those off, they won't grow, right? But this is the time to do it. If you haven't gotten out there, just put 10 minutes in, 20 minutes in, an hour in. I mean, it's hard to find time for sure, and it's not very warm, but now's the time to start.
Well, and it's also the time to start quite a few things indoors if you have the space for it.
If you have, yeah, so if you have a greenhouse or even a small one or in the windowsill, a lot of them, if you haven't seen, you can start like little wet napkin or plastic baggie in your shelf, and some neat ways to do that. So those are some other things we're going to add on in posts. This whole Friday, Family Friday, is for us to bring up new topics to you and ways to reach out to us. Again, most of what we can help you with is going to be on the Patreon, right? So YouTube and Facebook are us just talking at you. But when you can get to Patreon, you can interact with us, right? And our different levels there give you different access to us and some of our things. Again, one of the great things on patreon.com/1StrongHome is there's a farm assessment tool on there, right? It's a homestead assessment opportunity for you to go through. If you're a paid member, it comes with your membership, right? So it's downloadable and you don't have to pay again, right? But if you're not a paid member, if you're just on the free membership, it's one time $10. You actually download it. It's an Excel-based program, and you run through 70 so questions, and it tells you how you score, how your homestead is scoring, right? And it's all based on how many people in your family, what ages they are, how much food you make versus how much food you consume, all the things of your farm that help you do things in the event of a natural disaster, a power out scenario, and it's going to tell you how you're set up. And I'll be honest, man, even Terry and I, who I feel like we've been doing this for 20 some years, we didn't score an A+. We scored in the B's.
We know we have work to do.
We have work to do, and I think everyone has work to do, right? So it's a neat way to do that. So I definitely recommend go in there, get that assessment. Once you have it, it's downloaded for you. You can reuse it over and over and over again, right? It's got algorithms built into it, so that you can save your score or whatever, and then redo it. So if you have something new that happened on your farm, or if there's something you wanted to add, like what if I expanded this much garden space this year? What if I brought in a goat, or what if I decide to go into pigs, right?
The goats.
The goat. I know the goats. It'll tell you how your score would improve should you do that, right? In addition, with some of those opportunities, we'll be doing lives, right? So not just live like this, but like a Zoom meeting. And so if you're in those upper tiers, we schedule one of those with you individually once a month. And that's the true value that we can offer to you guys. Is maybe you don't live close enough to us where we can just go get coffee, and that's the way that we can reach out and help you. And if you upload and send us a couple of photos or video of your farm or space you want to do something with, we can give you our recommendations, right?
Yeah.
That's what the whole program is about. And we can link you up with people too. I mean, that's the big one. Like I said, we're going to put these on as lists of stuff that we've used, and you'll see those over and over again. And remember, the YouTube and the Facebook is there to attract you, and the Patreon is there to provide the stuff to you that isn't just bound by the requirements of YouTube and Facebook, which are pretty strict. If you've ever tried to do it on that, you can't say a whole bunch of stuff. And if this cup of coffee were been sponsored by somebody, or if I had somebody donate $5, you have to say their name online, and you got to send them a link. And yeah, so
one thing that I was thinking, we talked about, we got some feedback after last time, and some questions were wondering, kind of giving some feedback about how it was kind of broad, the topics we talked about. And we're starting out, we're learning, and we really appreciate that feedback. So
we love it.
If you guys want to let us know, give us a shout out. Does our audio sound better? Hopefully it does.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know. Also the topics, we were kind of all over the place. And so I think being that it's our intro going on right now, we're going to be more focused as these go on. I think our topics will be able to be more focused, and then hopefully we get some questions with our lives that we can respond to keep the conversation going and keeping it on that topic.
Yeah, and send in your questions too, right? So you can always get a hold of us. If you wanted to email us, you could admin@1stronghome.com, right? You can find everything at www.1stronghome.com. You can find almost everything on the Patreon. Honestly, the contact information is a lot easier through just the website, because you can find every link through there. You can try our store on there too. If you haven't seen, we have a great store. Our stuff's supposed to get here, but we got coffee cups, we got hats, we got t-shirts, we got Razorback tank tops, we got leggings, we're actually going in for a 3-ring spiral ring notebook, so you can keep notes on it. It'll say 1 Strong Home, right? So that you can kind of be involved too and bring bring all your ideas to one focus and maybe improve how you're doing stuff on your homestead, right? Um, so it's a great way for us to kind of keep going and reaching out. Again, we've been doing this for over 20 years. We've helped a number of different families do things similar, right? And expand what they have at their home and their lifestyle. And our ability to go online is broader. It's the ability to reach out to some of you that don't live local, so we don't have to just host things at our home. But we will be doing that as well, right? So we'll have moments where maybe we do chicken butchering, right? We'll definitely be doing processing the cattle here pretty soon, and some more classes like that. So you'll be able to zoom in. As long as you're in those upper tiers, you'll get that link. Or if you're local, we'd invite you down to take a look at that firsthand as well. All right. That's where we are. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. Again, remember Friday mornings is where we're planning to do our One Strong Home Family Friday.
Oh, yeah. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And Wednesdays are Warrior Wednesday. So, all right. Thanks, you guys.
Have a good day.